everyone, it's hwsteele, and today's January 9th, 2020, and in this video I would like to talk to you about planetary hours and whether or not Gann may have been using them in any way, form, or fashion to see if we can find any evidence for his using them at all. And we'll look in Tunnel Thru the Air specifically, since you know that's his famous book, at least now, that everyone likes to dig into and research with. So what exactly is a planetary hour? Let's do a tiny bit of research here. Basically, here's the days of the week: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And whether you knew this or not, the days of the week are named after the planets, the 7 visible planets. For instance, Sunday is named after the sun, Monday is named after the moon, Tuesday is named after Mars, Wednesday is named after Mercury, Thursday is named after Jupiter, Friday is named after Venus, and Saturday is named after Saturn. Some of them are obvious in English, like Sunday and Saturday. Some of them are not so obvious, and that's because the origin of the names that we use in English for those days of the week are actually come from different languages. But there are other languages like Spanish where if you go through the days of the week, the names of the days of the week, I should say, it's more obvious that they're named after the planets. But the planetary hours are a pretty simple concept. Basically, you'll start on Sunday, and the very first hour of the day is ruled by the sun. And then each successive hour in the day is ruled by the next planet faster in speed. For instance, the sun actually doesn't move, we know that, but it appears to move through the sky, through the zodiac, I should say, at the same speed that Earth does, because we're on Earth and we're the ones moving. The next fastest is Venus, and the next fastest after Venus is Mercury, and then the fastest of all is the moon, so that's the order that they go in, the planetary hours. And then once we get to the moon, we revert back to the back end of the queue to Saturn, which is the slowest of the planets that we can see with our naked eye all the time. And then we go back through the cycle again to the next fastest planet all the way through, and then we go through the 12 hours of the morning or day hours, and then we go through the 12 hours of nighttime. And if you'll look here, going through Sunday, we start with the sun, as it's ruled, the whole day is ruled by the same planet that rules the first hour. We go through all of these in turn, calculated by speed. We see that we're at Mercury here. The very last hour is ruled by Mercury on Sunday, and the next fastest planet after Mercury is, of course, the moon. And we'll see that Monday is ruled by the moon. So the planetary hours just keep going and keep going and keep going all the way through. And then after 7 days, the planetary hours return back to the beginning of the bigger cycle. So you can think of each day as its own cycle, but the 7-day week is kind of like a cycle of return, so to speak, for the planetary hours matching the days of the week again. In other words, it takes 7 days for the first hour of the day to be the sun again. And that makes sense because we're using 7 planets in this particular methodology right there. So if you ever wondered where the names of the week came from, this is it right here. And if you ever wondered why there's 7 days in a week, this explains it right here also. So that's a planetary hour. So that's what we need to look for evidence of in Tunnel Thru the Air. Now, without going through a bunch of basic research, I'm already going to take you to page 378 in Tunnel Thru the Air and read one paragraph to you right here. It says, "The President returned to Washington on the forenoon of June 9th, feeling much elated over the wonderful victory, proud of his native land, and thankful that the divine power had given them the man of the hour at the right time." Now, right here, we have man of the hour, and in a previous video, I talked about which planet man might be referencing due to the number of times that that particular word shows up in this book. And It's 225 times, and that's the number of days it takes Venus to orbit around the sun. So man could be a reference to Venus. Now, a check for this would be whether or not this point in time right here matches up with the planetary hour being ruled by Venus. So we know that we're on June 9th, and this is 1932, a little less than a month away from the July 4th, in quotes, victory of the war from this book. And it's the forenoon, or the time right before noon. So essentially, we can look at it as the 11 o'clock hour, the 11 a.m. hour. So we need to find out which day of the week June 9th was in 1932. And we can actually go ahead and pull up Astrolog here, and I took it back to June 9, 1932 at 11 a.m. And we see that June 9th is a Thursday. Okay? Very important right there. So let's go back and look here. If we go to Thursday and look for the 11 a.m. hour, we find that it is in fact ruled by Venus. So this would seem to give us confirmation that man is pointing to Venus, and that Gann was in some way utilizing planetary hours right here. Now, if we do some research, pull the PDF up here, there's only 2 points that man of the hour shows up in this book. One is on page 378, and the other is on page 326. And here we say we need the man of the hour, and in times past, the United States has always produced that man. I'm a great believer in the Bible, and all this stuff has gone over right here. You can go ahead and read this for yourself, because putting this into context, it makes it become more interesting, what I'm talking about right here. But anyway, we see that page 326 is actually how many pages before page 378? And the answer to that, in case you're not very good at math, is actually 52. So there are 52 pages between where man of the hour is talked about in this book, which would seem to be reaffirming the whole 7-day week or planetary hour kind of thing going on there, as there's 52 weeks in the year. So I just wanted to do this video and point this out to you because it should do a few things for you. Number one, it should give you an interesting idea to follow up on if you're at all interested in doing so, and digging around in Gann's works about this kind of stuff, the man of the hour or planetary hours. And it shows a couple of instances where a concept is thought of, research is done for it in this book. It seems to be pointing to it, and then we get confirmation of other things that we've discovered, like the possibility of man pointing to Venus. This seems to reaffirm that, and then man of the hour seems to be pointing to planetary hours. And then the fact that man of the hour shows up 52 pages before here kind of reinforces that idea. So anyway, I wanted to go ahead and just get this video out really quickly for you. So hopefully it will give you a nudge in the right direction and give you some inspiration for some other things to research and look up. So this is hwsteele, and I will talk to you in the next video.